Hey, what's up guys? Will here for GSM Arena. These days we've been seeing a lot of Xiaomi's Redmi Note phones, and the latest we'll talk about is the vanilla Redmi Note 9. What's unique about this one, and could it be the best deal of them all? Let's find out in our full review. The Redmi Note lineup this year is a bit confusing. We have the Redmi Note 9S, also known as the Note 9 Pro in India. Then there's the global Redmi Note 9 Pro, aka the Indian Redmi Note 9 Pro Max. And finally, here is the Redmi Note 9. It doesn't stray too far looks-wise from its cousins, though you'll notice the punch hole cutout is in the corner here. Ours is in forest green. This slightly curved back seems like glass, but we're not sure of the material. The frame is plastic though. It doesn't feel cheap, and there's even some water-repellent coating on the phone's internals. The Note 9 is well balanced and comfy in hand, but a bit on the heavy side, perhaps due to its large battery. One small complaint we have is that the power button and volume rocker, as well as the fingerprint reader on the back, are placed a bit too high. If you have larger hands, this isn't much of a problem. Besides the slightly off placement, the scanner works great. It's fast, accurate, and reliable to wake up and unlock the phone. The Redmi Note 9 screen is a 6.53-inch IPS LCD, protected by Gorilla Glass 5. It has a 1080p resolution, a standard 60Hz refresh rate, and a 19.5:9 aspect ratio. The punch hole cutout for the selfie cam is tucked away in the upper left corner, and like on other LCDs, you will notice some uneven backlighting around it. It's most visible when there's something white on the screen. Overall, this LCD is alright, but we've seen better. Sharpness is decent, and contrast is fine for a budget phone, but not great. Colors aren't the most accurate, but you can make them more accurate in settings. It's the brightness that falls behind the competition though. It goes up to only 370 nits maximum with a slider. Auto mode can boost it to 460 nits, which may not be enough out in the bright sun. For audio, the Redmi Note 9 has a single bottom firing loudspeaker. Loudness is below average here, and the sound quality is a bit flat. Vocals sound clear enough though. There is a 3.5mm audio jack if you wanted to plug in standard headphones without need for an adapter. And you shouldn't have to worry about running out of storage on the Note 9. You can opt for 64 or 128 gigs on board, and it's expandable through microSD. The phone runs Xiaomi's latest interface, MIUI 11 over Android 10. It's a bit closer to stock Android compared to previous iterations. You have the option for an app drawer to keep your apps in, as well as Android-style quick toggles in the notification shade. And one of the major differences between this model and the Note 9S is that here you have support for NFC, for wireless payments and connectivity. You also get an IR blaster on the Redmi Note 9, which lets you control certain appliances through the phone. The Redmi Note 9 runs on a Helio G85 chipset, unlike the Snapdragon chips you'll find on the Note 9 Pro or Note 9S. Granted, it is a small upgrade over the previous Helio G80, and it's a power-efficient chip. But the CPU and GPU scores fall behind the Snapdragon-powered competition, and the overall performance here isn't as solid, whether in games or just everyday tasks. Battery life is just as great here as on the Note 9S. The Redmi Note 9 has a large 5000 mAh battery, and it scored an outstanding endurance rating of 125 hours in our proprietary tests. The phone ships with a 22.5-watt charger, though the Note 9's charging limit is 18 watts. Charging speed is rather slow. In 30 minutes, we were able to charge the phone from 0 to 31%. There is a unique feature here though. You can use the Redmi Note 9 as a power bank to charge another device at 9 watts. Maybe this could be useful in a pinch. Now on to the Note 9's quad camera setup. It's nearly the same as that on the Note 9S. There's a 48-megapixel quad-Bayer main cam, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide, and a 2-megapixel depth sensor. However, the macro camera here is a 2-megapixel unit, rather than 5, and it has autofocus. 12-megapixel shots taken with the main camera are decent, with good sharpness in well-lit areas, and lively colors. However, the detail level is a bit behind the competition. Darker areas are a bit soft, and the dynamic range leaves more to be desired. 2x zoom photos have identical processing to the main camera, as they're just a crop from it. Due to the upscaling, the pictures appear noisier, softer, and the edges are jagged if you look close enough. Portraits are taken with the main cam and the depth sensor. These require a lot of light, but in good conditions, they come out quite nice, with natural skin tones. decent dynamic range, and good subject separation. The ultra-wide camera's 8-megapixel photos are noticeably softer and noisier than the main cams. Dynamic range isn't great either. Highlights look clipped, and details get lost in the shadows. At least the barrel distortion correction is on point here. Shots with the macro cam are good. The autofocus is great to have, and makes it a breeze to get your close-up photos to come out sharp. At just 2 megapixels, the detail level isn't the greatest, but we're still happy at this price point. It's funny, but it seems like the Note 9's main camera is more competitive at night than during the day. We were impressed by the dynamic range we got at this price, and the contrasts and colors look nice too. You do get plenty of noise though, and a general softness, but that's to be expected here. We recommend night mode, which makes a great improvement. The noise is still there, but the dynamic range and sharpness are vastly improved. There's even more detail in the dark, and highlights are well contained. Unfortunately, we can't say much good about the ultra-wide camera at night. Photos look like they are out of focus, muddy and noisy with washed out colors, and there's no night mode to make things better. Selfies are taken with the 13-megapixel front-facing cam, and they're okay. The colors pop and the dynamic range is wide, but we weren't impressed by the sharpness or detail level here. If you're in a backlit situation though, the HDR does a great job in restoring detail in the background. As far as video recording goes, we were disappointed here. The Redmi Note 9 only supports recording in up to 1080p at 30 FPS. Clips from the main cam are a bit on the soft side, and the dynamic range is a bit narrow. The ultra-wide's 1080p video offers similar processing, but it gets even softer towards the edges of the frame. So that's the Xiaomi Redmi Note 9. You get a pretty sturdy design, chart-topping battery life, and some pretty versatile cameras for the price, which is just around 180 euros. However, this price is quite similar to phones like the Redmi Note 9S, and others which improve upon the Note 9's shortcomings. The major ones being its lackluster chipset performance, the display that doesn't get very bright, and the lack of 4K video recording. So unless you can find the Redmi Note 9 at a discount, it's tough to recommend over the better equipped alternatives out there, many of which also come from Xiaomi. Thanks for watching guys, stay safe and see you on the next one.